Hello and welcome. Today is August 7th, 2020. It is a Friday. Started recording this at 1:45 p.m. We are here in Buffalo, New York, more specifically the neighborhood of Black Rock. We're starting on Tonawanda Street at the intersection of West and Tonawanda. Tonawanda Street was once home to thriving industry, but through decades of neglect has fallen into disrepair. But most recently, the building on the left here, the old train depot, has been repurposed. The front of the building, which you saw, said Hatchets and Hops, which is a bar where you can also throw hatches and axes at a wall. Move quickly to avoid these sprinklers. At the time of filming, it was 79 degrees Fahrenheit, so a beautiful day for a walk. The building next door is primarily apartments. It's been recently renovated. As you can see, there's a sign that says Lofts Now Leasing. I'm not sure to what capacity the building is leased at. And over here you can see an empty lot where there once were buildings. More sprinklers up ahead. Looks like they've planted a lot of young trees here. Hopefully they grow along with the new development on the street. And yet even more sprinklers. Over here, this is one of the few buildings on the street that is still being used. I'm not 100% sure the uses inside of it, but on the far side, which we'll get to in just a moment, you'll see there are cars. There's a sign for Cuckoo. I believe they're a vintage store inside this building. For those of you familiar with Buffalo and Black Rock, you can see the street has been recently repaved. Tonawanda Street, or at least this section of Tonawanda Street, was known for a very rough road. So it is nice to see a nice smooth road. As you can see, it is pretty well used. A lot of cars driving by, lots of traffic. We're actually going to switch sides of the street here in just a moment, because there's a lot of construction up here to the left. I'm not exactly sure what they are building, but it does seem to be a large area. Hopefully it's not just a parking lot, but again, I couldn't really tell from walking by. Here's a free couch if anybody's looking for it. Didn't look to be in the best shape. This building has fared rather well throughout the years. Here on the corner of Tonawanda and Watts Street. There's a lot of construction vehicles driving around. And down the street here you can see these buildings are still being used. People are parked there. And over to the left you can see the top of a church. That's on the other side of Black Rock. This walk, though, we will be taking a right once we get to Amherst Street, which is one of the main streets in Black Rock. And here's a better view of that construction. Some brickwork left over from the factories of the past. Unfortunately, most of the factories on this street have been demolished. There's a better look of what used to be. Still bricks in the ground. But it's been a while since we've seen anything. The construction, though, on the left is a very positive note for the neighborhood. This neighborhood, much like the rest of Buffalo, has gone through decades of decline. So any new construction is a welcome construction. This area on Tonawanda Street was once, I'm sure, filled with businesses. I even believe there were homes on the left side of the road at one point. And just beyond the construction site on the left is the main train tracks there. You can kind of see them peeking up. Those train tracks lead to the International Railroad Bridge, which crosses over into Canada. Black Rock is as far west as you can go in Buffalo, and in the United States for that matter. The bridge does take you to another country, and the other side of the bridge is Fort Erie, Canada. Now, Tonawanda Street is in Black Rock, but you'll see a sign coming up here that says welcoming you to Black Rock, which is more of the main business district and residential area. So you can see not many people other than the newly developed train depot live on Tonawanda Street. Remnants of a leftover business to the right. There's cars heading downward towards a viaduct. On the other side of the viaduct is more of Black Rock. We will explore that in a future video, but in this video we are heading to the right here. And there's that sign of Black Rock again. Black Rock played an important part in the War of 1812. And Black Rock was almost the destination for the end of the Erie Canal. That distinction would end up going to the city of Buffalo. And Black Rock was a separate location from Buffalo until it was incorporated in the city in the late 1800s. On the left, that large brick building that we saw is still thriving. I believe it's a furniture business, still doing quite well. And on the right here is a key bank, one of the larger banks in Buffalo. M&T Bank being the largest bank in Buffalo. At least I believe it's the largest bank in Buffalo. Here's the street signs here. We're going from Tonawanda Street to Amherst Street. Amherst Street stretches a long way across the city of Buffalo, and after you pass Main Street, it turns into East Amherst Street. We're not going to get that far on this walk, though. We are primarily going to stay here in Black Rock. This bank was opened in the late 50s. It's got a pretty unique architecture style. Most of the architecture, most of the homes and businesses in Black Rock are quite old. Some of them are faring better than others. This building on the left is a brick building, but it is covered by those metal sheets. It is still a used business. And on the right, there is a car shop. And this used to be Tea to Green. But no longer. Here's some of the few houses on the left. And here's a better look at that auto shop. And on the left, I believe, is Churchill Street. If I get the camera around there. Yeah, I got the camera around. It is a dead end. There's a business at the end of it. Coming up here on the right, this yellow building is a bike shop. And active bicycle shop. And as you can see, unbeknownst to me, this is garbage day in this neighborhood. And we do cross paths with the garbage truck and a lot of garbage on the sidewalks throughout this walk. Looks like they're open, the bike shop. I have to say it was quite a beautiful day while filming this. We've had a good stretch of days here in Buffalo where the weather's been very nice. Flowers and trees seem to be doing pretty well. Here is the Phoenix restaurant and bar. To the left, here's the split with Amherst Street and Military Street. Hot Mama's Canteen on the left, bar and restaurant as well. Corner mart there, then that blue building is very popular. Here's the entrance to the Phoenix. Up on the right is an older bar called Barry's. As you can see, a lot of people who ride motorcycles tend to go to this bar here. It seems to be doing pretty well for itself. You got the old Sabres logo in the window there. And on the left there, that Boost Mobile building. I really wish there was something better on that corner. It's a pretty nice spot but unfortunately right now it's being used as a single purpose building. I'm not sure what building used to be there. I can't imagine it was a one-story building from its inception. Residential strip here before we get to the corner of Amherst and Grant. Now we will be crossing the road in just a moment. On the right up here is a Family Dollar and a Tops grocery store. Just a normal strip plaza that you would see anywhere in the city or the suburbs. So I'm actually going to cross over and show you a few of the businesses on the left-hand side of the road. Those two houses there that have been combined, that's Sportsman Tavern, a very popular live music place. We're going to get a nice close view of it as we cross here. Yeah. We'll just keep going here. They've completely gutted these buildings or homes I should say, and made them into an awesome music venue. They're very popular.
Good, how you doing? Good.
And I believe Sportsman's actually has an outdoor area as well. Here's a barber shop. Seemed to be doing pretty good business as we walked by. On the right as well, outside of the frame, is a Burger King. Not really super exciting, didn't really feel it necessary to film it. Looks like the garbage trucks just came through, so a lot of these bins haven't been taken back to the rightful places. There you go. There's the corner sign for Tops. On the left here is a little antiques collectible shop. They weren't open on filming. Of course, this is during the coronavirus pandemic, and this is during normal work hours, so there's probably less people than there normally are walking around the neighborhood. Liberty Tax Services on the left here. love this little house tucked away behind this tree, the little gingerbread house.
We had to walk in garbage.
Right on the bustling corner of Amherst and Grant.
It smelled like
This
garbage the whole
building
walk.
to the left here has been recently renovated. Looks like they have some open house apartments on the second floor for rent. Straight ahead, that's the Polish Cadets building. I know it says Red Hand, but the lights did change. So we're just going to keep moving down the road here. Nice mural on the left. This has been a few different restaurants over the last few years. Over on the right, that is Hook and Ladder 12, I want to say. We'll get a better look when we get up to it in just a moment. Hook and Ladder 12. I'm not sure if it's an active fire station anymore or if it's used for different purposes. Funeral home on the left. And on the right, two older businesses that are holding strong. One of them is a European sausage and meats. The other one is a florist. Both doing pretty good business. I wonder how everybody's doing during coronavirus. I'm sure it's hit all businesses very hard. A tattoo and piercing on the left. Asker's Fresh Juice. Juice and coffee. It looks like they're painting the side of the building as we speak. And I just love that old bank. It's an architectural firm now. This is Amherst and Germain. Here's a quick glance at Germain Street. And I just had to stop to take a look at this beautiful church on the right. Church of Assumption. And just pan the camera up. There we go. Look at that. You can see this church from all around this side of the city. It's an impressive building, to say the least. Speaking of impressive buildings, these string of buildings on the left, all recently renovated, all seem to be doing very well. This one was recently redeveloped. Salon over there. American, Canadian flags as well. Again, being so close to Canada. Pride flag too. Black Rock's a very diverse neighborhood. Very working class neighborhood. Barbershop on the left here seems to be doing very well. Quite a few people in there. Also keeping distance safely. A few for sale signs. Looks like the pandemic has affected a few businesses on the block. Furniture store on the right. Straight ahead, that white building, that's Casey's. A pretty popular bar that had a renovation recently. I love the ivy growing on the side of this furniture shop. Trying to get a better perspective of the street. Kind of weaving our way back and forth. And we are at the intersection of Amherst and Howell Street. This used to be an old gas station. Now I believe it's just apartments. You can still kind of see the old structure. There's Casey's. Up here on the right, where you can see the bump out, this is the Dapper Goose upscale restaurant, newer restaurant on the street as well. And on the left up here, want to get these nice flower beds. On the left over there, that's Nick's Place, a very popular breakfast spot in the city. And a Wegmans truck driving by, hinting towards a future site. On the right here, that's Allentown Music. Used to be in Allentown. Now it's since relocated here on Amherst Street in Black Rock. Those two just passing asked if I was vlogging. Why, yes, I am vlogging. Some more businesses on the left. There's a repurposed shop on the right here. And bingo hall just after that. So we started on Tonawanda Street, where there's been recent development, recent input of money. And we're going to work our way towards Chandler Street, where we're going to end the video, where there's been also recent development. Here on the corner, Row Hall's Corner, another corner bar. I just love throughout Buffalo, there's so many awesome corner bars that have been in business for a very long time. The ivy growing on this house was especially nice. And this big beautiful tree just kind of sticking its way out into the sidewalk here. This is a recently opened Arabic bake shop. It smelled very nice when I walked by. Over here, I'm trying to get it in shot, but that is the one and only Wegmans in the city of Buffalo. It is very crowded at all times. As you can see, it's the middle of the day on the Friday, and it is crowded. At times, the parking lot can completely fill up for this Wegmans. And in front there's a wine and liquor store also run by Wegmans. But due to New York state law, they do have to be separated. We're going to take a left here on Bridgeman Street. Take this down towards our destination on Chandler Street. Bridgeman Street is purely residential. So for the next couple of blocks here, there will not be any businesses, just homes. Black Rock, like much of Buffalo, the homes are an older stock, and unfortunately there are a lot of empty lots where houses used to be. But in recent times, these neighborhoods have had a nice little uptick. And as you can see, there are plenty of people holding strong and keeping care of their yard and their home. As we're crossing over, I believe, Marion Street. inching our way a little bit closer to Chandler Street. This neighborhood has gone through a lot of changes throughout the years. Most recently, a lot of talks about what will happen with all the investment in the neighborhood. And I think it'll be a good thing for the neighborhood. I don't see the extremely strong demand for the neighborhood just yet, at least residentially. So I don't think a lot of these residents have to fear displacement just yet. This area had a lot of little birds. And we're crossing over another street. This one doesn't have a street sign. I'm not 100% sure the name of this street. Maybe I catch the street sign over here. Nope. Oh. Just the tail end of it. If I had Google Maps in front of me, I'm sure I'd read the street name, but I'm sure if you're interested, you could find out, or if you're in the area, you already know. Some of these front porches I'm very jealous of. Fortunately, I live in an apartment and do not have a porch. And this time of the year, I'm very envious of all these porches. The weather's in the 70s, humidity's a bit low. Perfect day for a walk. And as you can see, it looks like these porches get good use. And we've reached Chandler Street, which will be our destination. Our final destination will be on the left over here. I'll show the recent development of Chandler Street, or at least the development over the last few years. Chandler Street dead ends down in that direction. We're not going that direction. We're actually going to swing a left. Chandler Street, a once thriving industrial area, just like the first street we started on, Tonawanda Street. Went through a ton of years of decay, but very recently has been redeveloped, or at least a few buildings have been redeveloped. Workspace. There's another shot of Bridgeman Street. That building on the left with the very tall windows. It's a new workspace. We will end viewing the courtyard between those two buildings there. There's a ton of small workspaces, workshops, restaurants, bakeries, that sort of thing. All come together. As you can see, a lot of cars parked here. It is the middle of the day on a work day. Fortunately, there's no sidewalk on this street, but I can't imagine too many people are walking down the street. Maybe that'll be a future improvement for the city. And on the right here, Man Brewery and Tapo Wood-Fire Pizza use that space. Unfortunately, they weren't open just yet. They opened at 4 o'clock on this day. But we could smell them. They were already making pizzas in there. And beer's quite good as well. It's making me want to go back there now. The initial plan was for me and my wife to go there at the end of filming this, but we did not check if they were open or not. And of course, it being a Friday, it makes perfect sense that they're not going to open until 4. That's when people start to get off work. And the rest of these buildings are shared workspaces. Very nice. And straight forward is the courtyard. Unfortunately, it is locked up. This courtyard is normally open, along with the rest of the businesses. But again, with this area not really opening up until after work hours. It is closed off now, but this is where we will finish it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.